Well, that seems like a good moment to jump in and say hello, boa tarde to everybody. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, that's T Duck, top producer T Duck speaking there. And I think there are a few other hecklers um, ar- around this afternoon. We are broadcasting to you live on Expats Portugal. It's good afternoon, Portugal, isn't it? Here on live on YouTube and on Facebook. Thank you, top producer T Duck, for setting it all up. And a lovely view of the bay there. So, should we?
Why am I not in there as a guest?
I don't know.
And I am in there.
That's so bizarre, isn't it? We're struggling to get T Duck set up with the roving camera at the moment, but let's spin the camera around so that you can see. Maybe you won't want to see this, but that's what we'll do next. We're going to spin the camera around so you can see me and T Duck. There we go, live from Cafe Palmeira. Look, we can almost see Palmeira up in the. I tilt that back a bit. Yeah, there. Oh, isn't that great? Look. Nelson will be pleased about that, won't he? Cafe Palmeira.
Yes, 1, 2, 1, 2. Am I there? Yeah.
There you are there.
All right.
Thank you, top producer T Duck. And I think we've got a very special, a treat for you. Mrs. Duck is going to talk to me about her experience of moving to Portugal with a few. It might be like the Expats Everywhere video where I only talked about the positive stuff in Portugal. Then Mrs. M came on and talked about damp and stuff like that. Is it going to be like that? Is it going to be gritty? Just a little bit of that gritty sort of stuff about real life here in Portugal from Mrs. Duck. Actually, do you want to join us now?
Let's say here is guest. Will I be in there?
Let's have a look if we've got you here. No, I don't think we have.
But I'm in something.
So you've kind of joined the show, but you haven't.
Joined a show, but I've joined a different show, I think.
Okay. Mrs. M heard what I just said. Got that right, Carl. Bring on Mrs. Duck. Keen to hear what you've got to say. Hola, people. Hey, beautiful. Hey, T Duck. And hello from behind you. That's eerie. Pete the legendary Pete Wilton Davies is here. You are Pete. I didn't think you wanted to be exposing yourself in this way.
It's close enough.
It's close enough. Let me tell you that Pete. So many of you love the whistling theme tune and the intro. It was Pete that made that happen, that sourced the music and put the fantastic video intro together, the original video intro to the Good Morning Portugal show, and the outro that we still use to this day. So cheers, Pete. Good to have you here. And T Duck is now. Oh, who's doing that? Oh, I know. I need to mute you, and we'll be okay. Good, until you're out of harm's way. Why is Mrs. M on the screen? This is not turning into a Kyle Dunnigan video. How is the other side of San Martinho? You can't really be here because I've got the kid with me down at the seafront. I'm going to mute her up as well, I think, because that's just feeding back there. But at least you can see her beauty on the screen there. Bring back, Pete. We've already got bring back the whistling intro. They don't like the jazz, or Stephen doesn't like the jazz and wants the whistling intro. Maybe we can have a whistling infused jazz start to the show. Let me just put some a better. You were carrying the show for a minute there. Sorry, everybody. I was just trying to get everything figured out and change the color of the screen at the back. But I'm used to using PCs, not Apple stuff. So here we go. I think I've figured it out now. I'm going to make it easier on the eye in the background here and have a nice blue background. And that's coming up in just a moment. T Duck, you're seeing twice on the screen currently, but he's going to be a roving reporter in just a moment and give us a sea view. Okay, that's instantly easier on the eye. And we'll have T Duck reporting from the beach. It's very humid, close, as we say in the UK day here in San Martinho de Porto. A little bit breezier and cooler than it is for the folks who've come from Tomar, for example. Looking at Bob here. Are you glad to be here in the cool? A bit cooler. Yeah, and same for you, Pete? Happy to be here away from the searing heat of Castanheira de Pera? Yeah. and to meet. We met and shared clams, as all good gumpers should do. That should be the initiation meal. Whole fish, to the horror of some of our American friends here, that we're eating fish heads together. But that's what we've been doing this lunchtime. Patinga, French fries and clams. It's been delicious. And now time to do a bit of live streaming. So any questions you've got, we've got some fantastic people here. Mrs. M can't talk apparently, as you've taken the mic and headphones with you. Well, that will be. She keeps adding herself. If it's not green screen hand effects, it's her adding.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm trying to do a live stream from San Martin.
Well, I'll book her off if you want. It's fine. It's no problem.
Did you want to just be here to say, can you pick up a dozen eggs on the way back?
Did you get eggs earlier? If you did, then no.
I already got the eggs earlier on, yes. I'm not sure if everyone needs to know about our egg eating habits here. Stephen, so bring back the whistling intro. That's interesting and somewhat controversial. Joe Diaz is here as well. Hola, Joe Diaz, put out to you. And Owen's here as well. Owen with the remarkable video footage from Leria. Scary footage, which I think well over 2,000 views of that. Thank you so much, Owen, for sharing that with us. And if you do have anything to share about, what's going to help people stay safe in the fire situation, do please let us know. We're on air and we can do that live now. Eerily, we were just sat here having lunch in beautiful San Martinho de Porto, where you're not really expecting a blaze of any kind, and we saw smoke rising on the other side of the bay in Salia de Porto. So, and the bomberos came and put the fire out within minutes, really. So they're continuing to do an amazing job, but they must be tired now. They must be quite stretched and tired. So shout out to the bomberos. Get them water, get them energy bars, milk sometimes. Aren't you meant to be roving cam, sir? So I think he is going to pop down to the beach rather than pour beer onto my head in the background there. And yes, so please do say hola in the chat and in the comments. Great to hear from you, Owen and Pete, just behind me. Stephen, Sam Nazare in Australia, amazing. And a laugh from Ohio from Tom S as well. How are you, Tom? This is a whole lot easier, isn't it, for people who are stateside, rather than having to get up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And he's roving. Okay, we're going to do some. Have you got? If I put you on screen now, T Duck, can you hear me and can we hear you? This is great. Are you hearing me? Perhaps not, but we're seeing your pictures. I'm hearing you, but my mic is muted. Okay, so I'll do the commentary if you like. If you want, yes, thank you for that shot, T Duck, of my newly acquired beer belly. Started drinking beer only a week ago, and it seems that I've already got a beer gut, which is quite extraordinary.
There we go. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Excellent stuff. Okay.
Perfect.
So he's going for a rove. They're all going for a rove around the beach, I think. Look at this. Is it something I said? No. Okay. Yes, Tom, great to hear from you. Have you got any questions for the assembled crew here at Palmera Cafe in San Martinho de Porto? You just got back apparently from 2 weeks in Denver, where the temperature was 35 just about every day. Wow, so glad to be back. Ohio's a little chillier, is it? 33, 34 in Povoa de Varzim at the moment, up there on the Green Coast. We've been talking about that. Dave Bremer, I think. Dave is here anyway from Washington, who was a big hit last time he was on. He has been up in the north. Took our advice to go and have a look in the north and really enjoyed himself. Prefers the coolness up there, just like you do, Mark. So hot on the coast even. Not as hot as further south or inland, quite right. Look, some lovely beach shots. Look at that. Not the hottest of days on the beach here at San Martinho de Porto, but certainly a nice enough to be down there on the beach and having a dip. How do you keep cool? We're not really, is the answer to that. Tom, we're very grateful of a breeze. Where we've set up today, we seem to have a bit of a breeze coming through, and that's keeping us cool. But it is cooler than it was 2 hours ago. It was very, very, very hot and humid 2 hours ago. A little better now, and we've had a lovely lunch. There's Dave. Dave's having a wander about. Mrs. Duck, are you going to come and join me? And is that what I should continue to call you?
Call me whatever you want.
Call me okay, whatever you want. Please take a seat. And you know what to do. Put the hairy thing in front of your face and come and have a nice chat.
Okay.
So this is it then, is it? Is it no holds barred, gloves off? It's when you mentioned to me that you'd quite like to. This is great. We've got the running footage, haven't we, to the right of us here?
That is cool.
Whilst we have a conversation about your experience of being here in Portugal. When we first spoke, it seemed like there were some things you wanted to get off your chest that hadn't been said or you hadn't said. Is that right?
Well, there was one thing in particular. There are people coming over here, whether
Yeah.
it be from states, Canada, Iceland, wherever they're from, thinking that they can change the politics of this country.
Oh,
And if you're thinking about coming over here thinking you can change the way things are run, don't come over.
okay, fair enough. There, you've been warned.
You've been warned.
Give us a bit more background then.
Well-
Where are you seeing this? Is it on social media or in conversations you're having with people? What's the background?
Conversations with other people.
Yeah.
They don't like the way some things are being run. They want to get involved. They want to change things. But I would advise people that if you want to do that, be here for a while.
Yeah, good
Get
advice.
to know the people of the country.
Yeah.
Get to understand the politics of the country. As far as you know, the people could be happy the way things are and
Yeah.
don't want it to change.
Quite.
And
Right.
if you're changing it to be the way you think it should be, it's not your country.
Well said. And you haven't got the context, have you? In the 2 months that you've been here, with particular kinds of experiences, which are probably to do with the process of moving here, you don't have a 360-degree view, do you? And you don't have
No.
a four seasons view
No.
of life here in the country. So
No, you don't.
you're a bit premature, aren't you, if you come here trying to change
Yes.
things?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yes.
that's a fair comment.
Yeah. So be here a few years. Become a citizen.
Yeah.
Get your passport.
That seems like a really reasonable threshold. You're a resident. The clue is in resident, isn't it?
There's a difference between being a resident and being a
Yes.
citizen. Yes.
You know, I like that. So the clue there, you're a resident, you're new. Before you want to change everything, when in Rome, perhaps.
When in Rome.
When in Rome, and then maybe after, you might have earned your stripes as a
Yes.
resident after 5 years when you can become a citizen. And then there's a reason, I suppose, why the government here makes you wait 5 years.
So you can get to learn the country, get to learn the language, get to learn the people.
Yeah.
Get to learn the way things are run here.
Yes. Yeah. Very good. I like that. So yes, there's a warning. And I noticed you chose particularly North Americans with that in mind.
I was just thinking about the different people I ran into here.
Yeah.
It's people from whatever country you happen to be from.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
lot of the people that come here want to get away because of politics in their own country.
Yes. And the first thing they do,
Is they want to bring the politics here.
yes.
And if you didn't like the politics, why bring them here with you?
Yes. Yeah. It's a hard habit to break, I think, isn't it? Sometimes
I
for
think
people.
so.
Yeah. I think there is an addictive nature to being interested in the minutiae of party politics.
Yes.
And if you don't have context, you can't just transplant. You're getting waved at by people. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? If you don't have context, you don't really have full license, do you?
No.
And
No, you don't.
so do you intend to do that? Do you intend to become a citizen, and do you want to get involved in politics, or are you going to leave it well alone?
I plan on becoming a citizen.
Yeah.
And I plan to leave politics alone.
that sounds like it sounds like a very good combination.
What
there.
I would like to do is learn enough so I could make a wise decision in voting.
Yeah. And have you, in the time you've been here, which is what,
A little
just
bit over
over
a
a
year.
year.
Over a year.
do you feel like you've learned much about the politics in that year?
Not as much as I knew in the States. So I think I have a long way to go.
Yeah.
Because it's the politics here are very different.
Yeah. They're not as extreme, are they?
Sometimes it's hard to follow the politics here. One day they say one thing, the next day they say another thing.
Oh, and what are you basing that on? What's your source of information? Is that watching Portuguese news, being in the cafes and seeing it there, or talking to local people, or a bit of both?
Reading the news on an American written paper that's Portuguese.
Okay.
And
What is that for people's reference?
the Portugal news,
The Portugal. Oh, okay. The one that's published in the Algarve. English language, but
Yes.
Portuguese based,
Yes,
Portuguese,
yes.
Portugal
It's
centric news.
Portugal-centric news.
Yeah, okay.
And I can't think what the other one is.
The Portugal Resident.
And the
But
Resident.
those two sources, okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're quite British as well, I think, aren't they? The Portugal News possibly a bit more American than the Portugal Resident. Yeah, I'd be very glad to hear other people's.
I couldn't tell you.
Well, it'd be interesting to hear, won't it, where people are getting their political insight from here in Portugal. Antonio F., our dear friend Antonio F. from the Breakfast Show, is here. Boa tarde to you, Antonio. What would you say to foreigners coming in wanting to get involved in politics? What's their best way of learning about it first before they start sticking their boots into the situation? A message for you, Brenda. I have my list. Is that a private message or is it's from Owen?
Hi, Owen.
Do you know what I think? I think T-Duck is going to the Smuggler's Tunnel. This is going to be interesting, isn't it? Is he going all that way? This is fast. So when they get to the tunnel, we'll have a chat with them there.
Yeah, he's going to the tunnel.
Tips for keeping cool: a through breeze. So open up a couple of orifices. Keep the blinds down when the sun is on the windows.
Yep.
Dehumidifier. If humid, lots of fluids. Is that your protocol as well?
Yes.
Oh, look, we're approaching. Look at this, Mrs. Duck. We're approaching the tunnel here. Look at that. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel, literally, as we have a look. Can you hear us, T-Duck?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. This is exciting stuff. So we're going to give people a view of the tunnel here in San Martinho de Porto. There are a couple of figures at the end. This is fantastic, isn't it?
It is. It's cool.
So there we go. A warning, first of all, about rock falls. And we're going in. We're going in.
I don't know if you're going to get a signal as I walk through.
We're about to find out, aren't we? So let's see what happens. A bit of graffiti on the entrance.
If you lose me, I'll be back on the other side.
Okay. Yeah.
I have keys. I can get home.
Famous last words, right?
Wow,
Okay,
it looks brighter on the screen than it does in the tunnel.
So it's a bit moist and dark in there, is it?
Yeah.
Who doesn't like it a bit moist and dark first thing in the morning?
Maybe in the afternoon.
In the afternoon, even. So yeah, we really are approaching the light at the end of the tunnel. This is like almost a birthing or resurrection sort of experience here, courtesy of Good Afternoon.
It's actually working in here.
Yeah, that's normally when it cuts off, isn't it? When people say it's working,
Yes.
it's working.
Yes.
Yeah. Steve Welton, hey Steve. Steve knows about the tunnel. Been through this tunnel. I think others have been who are reporting in have been through this tunnel, and we're coming out on the other side. Back in the day, is it right, T-Duck? There used to be a beach here.
Yes, over here to the right. Yes,
There was
this
a
guy's
beach.
fishing over here.
There's somebody fishing. Catch of the day. He's very casual, your fisherman there, isn't he? Let's hope he's not taking a few hours off work and that his boss isn't watching, if that is the case with this gentleman. Yeah, he just tilted the camera away. But it's looking very different now. This is what happens when you go to the other end of the tunnel at San Martinho de Porto. You get a sense of the wild Atlantic. Do you think he's getting his feet wet? It's like a duck to water, this man.
He does like
Another
the water.
fisherman, another fisherman. And looking, and up at the top of the cliff there. This is great. Well done, T-Duck. Fantastic. What a landscape. Superb stuff. More than once, says Steve. Steve Welton, more than once. We love going through the tunnel and get the full effect of the Atlantic. Yeah. None of you.
There are islands out there, but we can't see them today.
That's Berlinga, isn't it? That's off. You get the boat out to Peniche, from Peniche to Berlinga there. Yeah. Very good. Superb. Thank you for that. We're getting a few comments in, Mrs. Duck, about politics, which is great. And keeping cool. Is it nice and cool there, T-Duck? Oh, somebody's brought another beer out.
Very nice.
Eating rascal.
You're
Very
getting
nice.
a little ocean spray here, too, as you can see.
Bit of ocean spray. Oh, that's what was on his trousers earlier on. Thought it was something else. Just a bit of ocean spray. Nothing to worry about, everybody.
Oh, where's
Okay.
that soundboard when you need it?
Brenda, I love your opening statement. Yes, don't meddle in the politics of the new country.
Yep.
And Jennifer's here as well. Thank you for keep that footage coming. It's fantastic, Tito. We want to leave the US because of the politics and lack of compassion for a different point of view.
Yes.
There you go.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that. And we are in the process of planning our third visit this fall winter. Hope the meetups will still be happening then. Absolutely, Jennifer. If you're coming, we'll be here. You do, Carl. I think that was a response to one of my earlier questions about things people like to do in the morning. Carl, foreigners, at least while they don't learn the local language, are always dependent on the few media available in their home country's language. So it's difficult for them to be perfectly aware. Yes, well said. Thank you, Antonio, for that. And I think there's another comment about that. Yes, Mark Rigby. You would need a good grasp of Portuguese to be able to participate in political discussion.
Yes, yes.
How's your Portuguese going?
About as well it was before I came over.
Did you see that look? Did you see that look she just gave me? If they get that information from a native,
You're supposed to say tudo bem.
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem, muito bem, muito bem, obrigado. And if they get that
Tudo bem.
information from a native, says Antonio F, that info might be biased intentionally or not. Yeah, I talk to a lot of taxi drivers and hairdressers, and those sorts of people, believe it or not. And I wonder, Antonio F, if you think the political views of your average taxi driver might be representative. I think in some ways it's like the voice of the people. He might be the modern day Zé Povinho in your taxi there, I would like to think, but I'll go with your lead on that. Great fishing spot, T-Duck. Yes. See if you can get us a dorada or a mackerel or something like that.
Dorada.
Carvalho dorada from, not torrada, which is toast. Don't get that. Don't make that mistake that I've made in the past. Thank you so much, T-Duff. So, okay, that's a great introduction to your views of your life here after a year in being here in Portugal, Mrs. Duck. Brenda, what else have you noticed? What else would you like to share with us this afternoon?
What I've noticed is it's hard to get the Portuguese people to answer email.
Sorry, I just need to swallow my coffee there. It's true. It's true. We're coming back through the tunnel now. Look, this is not unlike a metaphor for having an email answered in Portugal, is it? A dark tunnel with light at the end of it.
Sometimes that light's not there.
Timing. Sometimes the light's not even there. Now, I've got something of an explanation for this.
What?
Somebody else who's here at the meetup today is Phil. And look, Nelson's coming in with his Superbox shirt on. Phil said this is a relationship-based culture, not a transactional culture, not the trading of emails. People like to see each other and talk to each other.
Yes.
So your email might not be a primary method of communication.
It's not. If they do answer, it's a few weeks later.
If you get one at all.
If you get one at all, it's a few weeks later.
And I've had the same thing with WhatsApp. You send a message to somebody and you go through the British 3 strikes and you're out. And the passive aggression, the anger, the buried resentment sort of develops as you're thinking, I'm not getting my WhatsApp message answered. Everything all right back there? Maishuma Pedrash, I think, is that right? Really, people like to ring each other up or see each other, I think, to do. Is that your experience?
It's a more personable country.
Personable, that's the right word. Yeah. I know Pete is behind the scenes as well. Pete might agree with that. He's got a lot of experience here. Emails. What would you think is the best method of communication, Pete? When dealing with Portuguese businesses, that people like to use WhatsApp here, don't they? But it's good to get in front of people and have a chat, right?
Yes, face to face.
Face to face for sure. There you go. Yeah. Okay. So there's that, and it's not a criticism, is it? It's just a recognition of the culture.
It's just the way the culture is.
Yeah.
The culture is a very personable, loving, touching country.
Yes. Yeah. How about
they
that?
like to touch you.
Yes.
They like to kiss you on the cheeks when they meet.
Yes. A tactile country.
Yes.
Yeah. I saw this yesterday, and I was very touched by it. Emotionally touched by it. I saw 3 men meeting in a shopping centre, and I think they weren't shopping. They were workers, or they had some business in the shopping centre, and they shook hands. And one guy put his hand on the other guy's shoulder and patted it like that, and then the other guy put his hand back on his shoulder and kind of rubbed his back.
Yeah.
And I thought that just probably wouldn't happen in the culture I'm from. It's so friendly and real, isn't it? It's nicer than a few emojis on the end of a WhatsApp.
Well, that happened to me in the grocery store. The guy recognized me. He didn't speak English. I didn't speak Portuguese, but he named the area in which I lived in. So I knew that he knew me. Okay. And he put his hand on me and started rubbing my back as we were talking.
Wow. Yeah. Now, that could be disturbing to some people, couldn't it?
It might have if I hadn't seen people.
What, setting the tone?
The way they interact with each other, but that's the way they do things here. They're very touching.
Yeah. Literally.
Really,
It's
literally,
touching.
they
It's
are very
touching. Yes,
touching.
on every level. Although that's probably not the best way of putting it.
Well, I don't think they go that far.
Not touching on every level, but
No,
a
not touching every
number
level.
of. You never know. Never get in a political debate with a taxi driver. They are too experienced. You will lose. Yeah, okay, that's a good point. T-Duck is just passing the best seafood restaurant in the area. He is, and it's not that well known. The little seafood restaurant in the quay, the Caixa de San Martinho de Porto. I think just coming past Portobello. No, that's nice for a meal. As well. Do you want to say anything to us? I know you can hear us. Oh, you've muted yourself. Unless you want to speak.
Yes, I just unmuted. I just want to say you're doing a great job, Brenda. Good job, Mrs. Duck. Is
Good
this
job,
the restaurant
Mr.
you're talking about?
Thank you.
Not that one. It was the one with the little seating area on the
Portobello.
other side. No. There's I think behind you, a bit further on.
Ah,
Is that the one with the stairs?
No, not Azimut. Azimut
Azimut.
is really good as well. There's a really nice man called David who runs that. That's a nice place, good bar. That's open late into the evening. But there is a little fish restaurant on the other end of the quay,
Right
as you
there.
might expect. Yeah, with a little seating
Okay.
area on the other side. But T-Duck's coming back towards Portobello now, which is good for this. You'll recognise this, Brenda. Do excuse me. That's Portobello. Now that opens at 7 o'clock in the evening or 7:30. They don't take bookings, but by about 7:35, it's full of expats
Oh, wow.
who feel like they're going to die if they haven't eaten by 8 o'clock in the evening,
Yes.
which is a bit different to your local people, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. You won't see any Portuguese people. I mean, 7:30 is lunch, really, I think, to a lot of Portuguese people. And they're going to be having their dinner a lot later than when Portobello opened. But Portobello have understood that if you open up at 7:30 and get the expats and the foreigners and the tourists in there, that you're going to be full. So they are. They've really understood that.
And then you can get the expats out and the foreigners out and get your locals
Second
in at their
service.
regular time.
Second service for
Yes.
the local people right into the early hours of the morning. Perfect. Now, this whole cultural shift, early eating times or different eating times.
Yes.
Staying up after 9 o'clock. How's that going?
Duck usually goes
I
to
don't
bed.
understand what you just said.
He's
Yes.
usually in bed by 9:30, 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. So I've heard. I have invited him to things that start at 9 o'clock in the evening, and the colour
Yes.
drains from his face.
Yes, it does.
Do you think he'll adjust, or is that that's his way?
He may be too old to adjust.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. Speak up, honey. Okay.
Get off my lawn.
What about you? Maybe 10 o'clock
I'm
for you
usually-
on a dangerous night?
12.
Midnight?
Yeah.
Ooh, check you out. Okay, so I think you're getting into the local ways.
Now, I have to cut in here. We usually watch a few YouTube documentaries or
And I
something in
fall
the
asleep.
evenings for a few hours, and she sleeps then.
Okay. Joe
Then-
Biden.
Then I wake her up and go to bed,
Yeah.
and then
well,
she's up till midnight.
Wow. Okay. So a bit of a Biden going on there.
That is the key to a good marriage.
Go on.
Yeah, but I don't need a prompter to tell me what to say.
Is that the key to a good marriage? Oh no, that's a political leading a country.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
I don't need a
You
prompter.
said you didn't want to talk about politics. Steady. Okay, that's back
Steady
home.
on.
Steady on, old chap. Hola from Marta Woodhead. Hello, Marta. How are you? Thank you for saying hola to us this afternoon. Where are you? Thanks for a good show. Lovely to see Brenda on the screen. Got to go. Great job, Mr. Duck, and your tunnel tour. Love you guys from Mrs. M there. And now we're having a beach tour, aren't we? I hope we're going to get disclaimers from all those people. Release forms. It's only about 1,000 down there, T-Duck. Everything's going to be fine. Yes, Carl, Portuguese are very touchy physical as they like to kiss and hug, as you were saying. Yeah. No, we enjoy that about the new culture. Hi from New Mexico, from Gene. Hello, Gene. Can't wait to return. Of course, you know this area as well. We have a beautiful photograph of yours of the bay and from sea to plate. It's amazing. Oh, look, he's right back at us. Look at that. Fantastic. Thank you for that. Thank you very much indeed. Where next? Are you going to go up to the viewpoint at the top of the hill?
The elevator's not working, so the answer.
Yeah, actually, we do have a complaint. The elevator, the glass elevator, which is an amazing facility here in San Martinho de Porto, seems to be shut for the tourist season. Not too happy about that. Are you not getting any sound? We're getting feedback from you, Mr.
Oh, I'm
Duck.
getting the sound, but there's a delay.
Oh, is this a bit? Oh, okay. That's a bit unnerving, isn't it? He's off. He's going for another walkabout there, and he'll probably have some interesting things to show us. Maybe the menu, yeah, like local cultural things. That would be nice to see. Here we go. Here's the Palmera menu. Bifana no pau, bifana no prato. Has that thrown you to see the word no?
Yes.
It does. Seeing the word no, yes. What? Hold on. What's going on? So see, and now, bifana no prato means that'll be your bifana steak on a plate. Bifana no pau is not no bread, but on bread, as it were. So just on reversed. Yes, it's on reverse. So no means on. When you see that, that's a really good guide. Thanks, Pete, who really impressed us with his Portuguese ordering lunch today.
You know, there is one good thing about taxi drivers and Ubers.
Go on.
You get to listen and hear new music.
Yes. Now you have been shazamming or asking the drivers, haven't you? What's this? What's that?
Yes.
Yes. Got any recommendations?
No.
Okay, thanks for that.
I don't remember all the music. We've taken so many Uber rides. It's hard to say.
Often as well, inspiring stories in an Uber. The drivers you speak to, they may also be foreigners.
The majority of them are.
With incredible stories, right?
Yes.
How they got to be in Portugal.
Yes.
And you'll be there and you might be sipping on a bottle of water provided by a very thoughtful Uber driver or a little sweet. And you'll say, you know, they'll ask you where you're from and you'll say, where are you from? And they'll tell you the most amazing story of their life.
Yes, they will. Yes. Yeah, it's very interesting talking to some of the drivers. Yeah,
incredible stories that they have, and new music as well. So you've actually said to them, have you? What's this playing on your USB stick or whatever, or on Spotify? And you've learned some new music.
We do. Usually, what I do is just use I can't think of that app where you can put
Shazamming
to hear what the song is and the singer.
Yeah. That's a really nice little tip. So we talked about politics. We talked about, a little bit about learning. Not very much at all about learning the language.
No.
And Uber drivers. What else in your just over a year here? We haven't asked you if you're enjoying yourself and if it's for you. I'm guessing it is.
If I wasn't enjoying myself,
we wouldn't be having this conversation.
And I wouldn't be living here.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll take it for granted that you're loving life here in Portugal.
I am.
Yeah.
And one thing I'd like to say is for people that are coming over just to investigate the country, go to grocery stores, go to department stores.
Okay, why?
And the reason for that is you're not going to find everything that you're used to seeing in the States.
This, Brenda, is a bigger deal for Americans, I think it is, than it is for UK people who might have popped across to France or whatever. And I've been quite surprised by this. I was with some friends, John and Pam, in a Pingados, and I thought, I don't think they're going to want to have lunch in a Pingados or even spend much time in a supermarket. And they found it a really helpful and useful part of being here and having a scouting trip.
Yes, it is. It very much is, because you're used to maybe cooking with certain spices, or you're used to a certain cake mix or
Betty Crocker
bread.
Yeah, don't see Betty Crocker over here, do we?
No, and if you do find American products, they're going to be a lot more expensive than the items that come from Portugal or the EU.
Yes.
Because of the import tax, the VAT tax.
Yes.
And the same thing goes for clothing. You can find brand name clothing here that you're used to in the States, but you are going to pay for it.
Yes. The power of the brand, right?
Yes.
And that's what we're talking about, isn't it? Is branding.
Yes.
And obviously America leads the way with branding, doesn't it? It's all about the brands.
Yes.
The consumers in America are very brand conscious and brand led. How has that been then going into a supermarket? Has it been a little bit stressful sometimes?
It's an adventure. And I use my phone a lot. And the reason I use my phone is to translate things so I can see understand what I'm trying to read. Because when you have someone who's allergic to certain food items, you have to make sure that that's not in the food you're buying.
That's me. Can I break in here for a second?
You can. Don't break into those tents, will you?
No. You can have to. No. I always hate shopping, especially grocery shopping. Just not my thing. But here, even after a year, I love going to the grocery store because it's always such a unique experience.
Ah,
You see so
interesting.
many different things, and every time we go, I see something new that I hadn't seen before. I'm like, oh, what is that?
Have we got some tips for our American viewers then? You know, brand swaps or things that they might like to try that they've never seen in their life. What might that be, T-Duck or
I would
Brenda?
just say generally, just you'll do better if you try and eat like a local does. Find something that's similar. It doesn't have to be exactly the same.
Okay.
You don't need the exact same products. Just find something that you like here. I mean, that's why you came here, wasn't to have a different life, to have new
Yeah,
experiences.
rather than just having a sort of a lexicon where you can translate everything over to the old place. Okay, be open to
Right.
new experiences. Okay.
You can do it, but like Brenda said, it's going to be really expensive. If
And
that's what you want to do, that's fine.
And sometimes, though, it is nice to have a bit of comfort food, isn't it? So, what have you missed that you've been able to replace?
I'm not missing anything now. We have found
I'm
Brilliant.
not missing
substitutes or new
No,
things that
I've
we
always-
like.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Always
you've got
found
new
substitutes.
comfort foods, new comforts.
Google comes in handy for finding substitutes,
Okay. All right.
especially when it comes to spices and things.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that. Steve agreeing absolutely. This last time around, we made food several times and enjoyed shopping for the food. So that added value of actually, So allow time for that.
Yes.
Allow
Shopping is entertainment.
Yeah. Okay. So have shopping as entertainment rather than as a chore. Pete.
I think it's the opposite thing now. When you've been here for a while, when you go back to the UK, you miss certain things from Portugal. When you go back
Yes.
to the family,
Such as
bacalhau,
Yeah.
chorizo, and things like that, and the bread and things like that.
the bread, definitely. Now,
Yes.
you heard
The
Pete
bread.
talking off camera there. It sounds as if Pete has passed the Bacalhau threshold. Have you yet, Brenda? Can you
No.
imagine yourself going back to America and saying to yourself one day, I know what it is. I know what that hole is in my life. I've got to get me some Bacalhau today.
What I found is the food tastes so much better over here, especially the fresh fish
And the
Okay.
produce.
Yeah.
and the produce.
But the bones, we were talking about the bones, weren't we, earlier on?
We were,
Yeah,
and
whatever.
I think the reason the fish tastes better too is maybe because you are eating it with the bones. It hasn't been processed.
Yeah, warning. Okay, that I didn't know this until I started dining out with a lot more American friends here. In a restaurant in America, you're likely to be eating a fillet or
Yes.
a filet.
Yes. Yes.
And have that. The added value is in taking some of the bones out, or all of the bones out for you, and you might even complain if you found a bone in your fish, right?
I wouldn't. It happens.
It happens. Okay.
But yeah, there probably would be people that would complain.
If the pin boning hasn't been very comprehensive and rigorous, that could be a problem. Here, you're going to get your whole fish. The head is on it, the tail is on it.
That was kind of a surprise to me.
To have a whole dead fish grilled
Yes.
and put in front of you.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And your culinary response after the first psychological shock.
It was wonderful.
Yeah, and that's what we're talking
It
about.
was
Is the flavor.
wonderful. The flavor was
I think. I mean, we'll go back to Pete to talk about coming to terms with Bacalhau in just a moment. But fresh fish here in Portugal is nothing like it, is there?
no, not I've never tasted anything like the fresh fish here.
How about that? That's probably all we need to say. Bacalhau, Pete, what do you need to do with Bacalhau in order that you miss it when you go back home?
Cook it well, like the Portuguese do.
How?
Well, it's
your favourite Bacalhau recipe.
every bacalhau dish is great, but I think the best one is a big pasta, which is a big steak grilled on the barbecue, covered in olive oil and garlic, and you can't beat that.
I had that yesterday. It wasn't on the barbecue, but it was a Bacalhau steak, basically, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so you a Bacalhau steak, and can you tell us what that means, Bacalhau? Because it's not just a cod steak, is it? It's been through it's processed, isn't it?
Yes, it's dried and then salted, and the drying process is done. Portugal have a specific requirements for bacalhau, whereas lots of other countries dry it chemically. Portugal are only allowed sun-dried bacalhau into the country. I don't know if most people knew that. So
No.
That's fantastic to know. Okay, and the irony of it is we have a huge Atlantic coast here. You'd think there might be a few cod swimming out there, but the cod for Bacalhau doesn't come from Portugal, does it?
no, it all comes from Scandinavia, Norway, and even from the States as well. Yes, all the fishing grounds between Europe and North America.
Okay. Did not know that. There you go. Did anyone else know that who's tuned in? And let's see who's joined us this afternoon. Thank you for that, Steve. Enjoying the shopping as well as the cooking and the eating of the food. Google Assistant apparently does that too, matches the music. So if you're in your Uber, you can say, Google, what is this tune? Can you talk about the membership club for those just looking in Portugal? Marjorie, thank you, Marjorie Morstein. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. We have 3 levels of membership, basically, at Expats Portugal. The free, make sure you join the community and you have access to the forum. Then, if you're serious about moving to Portugal, join Premium and you'll get a bunch of discounts and perks and benefits, which are especially useful if you work, which we recommend you work with EI and Gilda to come here. You will get a discount off their services, their professional services, and a whole lot of other excellent professionals as well. You'll get discounts and benefits with those professionals that we put together to make the whole journey easier, basically, to make the journey as free-flowing as possible. And then Premium Plus, where you get some extra input. We have a meetup, a virtual meetup, a Zoom call, troubleshooting Q&A every Thursday night. We have special guests occasionally. Last week we had a fantastic tech person on there talking about transferring your technology over to Portugal from the United States, for example, and exclusive content on that level as well. So those are basically the 3 levels. Come and work with me. Sign up for Premium Plus, Marjorie, and we'll work together, and a lot of one-to-one support should you need it. Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Nom de Plume, with an hola as well. Look at this, Mrs. Duck. 38 people watching. There's a few lurkers who've yet to say hello, right? And Mr. Duck still out there on a walkabout. Excellent stuff. Marjorie, how long should a scouting be? Did you do scouting?
No.
You just decided to come and that was it?
Well, because when we decided to come over, you couldn't come over and scout.
Ah, of course. Yes. Yeah. Lockdown.
It was locked down. You couldn't come over just to visit.
Yeah. Brilliant.
So when we came over, it was just with 2 suitcases apiece.
So you just, I say brilliant because it's brave, but you were just determined to come and start your life and enjoy your life here.
Like Mr. Duck says, do you stay home and wonder what if?
Yeah.
Or you come over and give it a try? What's the worst that's going to happen?
You fly
go
home.
Back.
Exactly. Yeah, there you go, folks.
So what have you lost?
If you're overthinking it, if you've got paralysis by analysis, look, Cafe Palmera. We're somewhere like that, aren't we? Oh, look,
Maybe.
It is us. Nice job, Mr. Duck. Fantastic. Look at that. We've got an on-air light and everything. That's why people are waving at us, isn't it? But yeah, worst case scenario, you don't come, but you have a great holiday.
And you had a nice holiday.
You had a nice holiday. There you go. Sorry, and specifically scouting trip. Anyone want to hazard a guess or make a suggestion? How long for a scouting trip in Portugal?
12 years.
12 years. Pete's on a 12-year scouting trip. How's it going, Pete?
Good.
You might stay.
So far.
You bought 3 properties in a scouting trip. Very good. And eaten a lot of bacalhau.
Yes.
Right. Would you care to chip in? 3 to 4 weeks to get a good view of the whole country. Base camp or keep moving? Keep moving. Okay, so Airbnbs around the country, and not difficult, right? You can find nice places to stay all over the country here, can't you? Yeah. Thank you very much indeed.
And I would say that if you're here on a scouting mission or if you've moved here, coming to the Wednesday meetup is a wonderful thing.
Oh,
and the reason I say that is if you're here for the first time or you haven't been here very long, you get to meet like-minded people. They've been through some of the things that you're starting to go through, and they can maybe help you. They can give you advice.
Yes.
And they can maybe point you in the right direction. Or if you've been here for a while, maybe you can help those new people.
Yeah.
And it's always nice to meet new friends.
And you also meet the unlike-minded here occasionally as well, don't you? And they're the ones you can avoid at future meetups.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent. If they have creme de frango and queijo cheddar soup, I will be happy. I use those to make chicken and noodles. My favorite. So cream of chicken and what cheddar soup? Cheddar soup?
I don't eat cheese.
Is that like soup from a spray can? It's you can we'll Tom. If that's the deal breaker, we're going to make that happen for Tom, aren't we?
And also, if you can't find something that you like to eat, Maybe you can find the ingredients and make it yourself.
Yep. We're getting nods. We're getting nods about that.
Because nothing tastes as good as when you cook it yourself.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely right. Although it is nice to be cooked for as well, and there are many opportunities for that over here for sure.
Oh, too many.
Too many. Antonio F. For you, Marjorie, this is advice from a Portuguese man who I'm always like. We have João F. and we have Antonio F. And I am so honoured that they would even bother with us. Antonio, this is his second visit of the day. He was on the morning show this morning helping us out, and here he is again helping you out. That depends. If you already have a defined location, 1 week or 2 should be enough. Okay. So if you've decided you're going to be in Ponte Lima or Lisbon, Cascais, 1 week or 2 should be enough. And if you have decided on your location, please don't go anywhere else.
Yes.
Because that's when the trouble starts,
Yes.
isn't it? Okay.
Yep.
Yes. More nods. The San Martinho de Porto syndrome. 1 week or 2 should be enough. If you have no idea, it might take several trips.
Yes.
My advice is visit in summer and in winter as well. So 2 scouting trips. Great advice, as we would expect from
That's a
Antonio
very good
there.
point, because then you can see what each region is like during that drastic season.
Love for the live action. Oh, he's gone. Is he gone for a lie down after all that exertion?
Maybe he needed another beer.
That's probably more like it. Yeah. Thank you. Where should I do my summer and winter? Marjorie is getting some good value this afternoon. So let's go around the table then. May I disclose your identities? May I say the Yonkers are here with us as well. Pete's here, and Mrs. Duck, of course, here at the table. And T Duck is back. So let's go to the panel then. Where would you recommend for summer? The Yonkers. In the north. Okay. Anywhere in particular? Ponte Lima, Peneda Gerês? North of Porto. Viana de Castelo. There you go. Is that your recommendation, Pete? Viana de Castelo in the summer. In the summer. So away from the searing heat. So on that logic, in the winter then, south. Here. Some Silver Coast and south. Okay, so we've basically got a kind of Silver Coast threshold here, haven't we? So in the summer go north of the Silver Coast, in the winter go Silver Coast and south. Agreed on the winter strategy? Have you overwintered in Tamar? Is that what your plan was? Alentejo, was that good? Yeah. Okay. So it was a bit chilly, was it? Okay. But those wide open spaces. Villanova de Milfonche, or were you more inland? Inland. We have got so much help for you here in this community, Marjorie. Winter and summer, Mrs. Duck? Lisbon and Lisbon?
Lisbon.
Okay, for both there. Okay. You won't have a bad time if you go to Lisbon any time of the year, will it? It's so much to do.
Where we live in Lisbon, we don't live in the tourist area. We live where the Portuguese live.
Right.
So we don't have all that traffic, all that noise.
Okay. And have you been taken in, would you say, into the Portuguese bosom?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Would you say you're nursing on the teat of the Portuguese? No. Okay.
I don't think I want to go there.
No, I don't either. I don't know why I said that. Allah was watching the Tour de France. Are you back in a bar again, Carl? Yes. It didn't take long, did it? Patrick, good afternoon to you. Marjorie, as Carl said, go to Expats Portugal Forum, place your questions and doubts there, and you'll get plenty of answers and help. Thank you, Antonio. Antonio, you'll find not only here, he'll find him there as well. So thank you for that, Antonio, that suggestion. And thank you from Marjorie as well. Hola. Hola, Miss Duck.
Hola.
Hola. And from Pau Ementega. Very good. Hello, everyone. Miss San Martinho de Porto very much. Thank you for the nostalgia, although much has changed in that location. So for Pau Ementega, let me just spin the camera around while we're talking then, so that you can see your beloved San Martinho de Porto, as well as looking at us from time to time. There's your view that you'll be familiar with, Pau Ementega. Patrick, my plan is 6 months on a motorbike and Airbnb rentals.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good, doesn't it? Sounds like fun. And motorcyclists are loved here in Portugal. I mean, it's still dangerous, as it is anyway. You've got to be very careful. But there are a lot of bike clubs. We might actually be working with a a motorcycling event. We've been invited to do an outside broadcast. I must tell you about that, T-Duck. Look, there you are, and you're getting. Oh, look, he's teasing us with the ice creams as well, now, isn't he? Alex Rappaport, good afternoon to you. Do you think right now is the right time to buy a property in Portugal as the euro is cheap? No, says T-Duck.
T-Duck thinks the prices are going to go down.
Okay. What about you, Pete? Good time to buy?
Now better than later, I think.
Now to buy?
Yeah.
Okay, what? Because you're seeing a continual increase in
I think
prices.
it's going to go up for a few more years. Yeah.
A few more years. However, I mean, Alex is saying the euro is cheap, so you might be experiencing some great value because of the parity that occurred. Because of the euro.
I think in a few years, I think the real estate's already starting to come down in the States. I think we're a year or two behind.
Okay, all right. All right.
Never take financial advice from a duck.
Never take financial advice from a duck. Alex, don't take financial advice from any of us here. We're just giving you opinions. Yonkers, would you say? Do you think now is the right time to buy? You're waiting for your right time. That's good advice, isn't it? When you'll know it when you know it. Yeah, there you go.
And what I could say too is do your homework.
Meaning?
Don't just listen. I mean, listen to what people say, take their advice, but also do your own homework.
Yeah.
Because what works for one person and what they believe works for them isn't necessarily going to work for you.
That's right. That's right, isn't it? So serving suggestions and then create your own recipe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. We are planning our winter trip now for January. Says, Steve, looking forward to seeing you. I hope you have Silver Coast on your next trip. Hi from Phoenix, Arizona, from Yolanda. Hey, what? Wednesday night meetup? Well, Wednesday afternoon meetup, right? It's only, what time is it? About 4 o'clock? 4:15 here on the Silver Coast, live from the Silver Coast. So we've got a temperature as well. 16:15. And what's the temperature? 81 currently. It's warming up again, isn't it? We had a nice bit of breeze.
It's cooler here than it is in Lisbon.
Okay, so you're glad to be here.
Oh,
Yolanda, yes. Carl basically goes out for beers and drags us with him. That's not an unfair assessment of the situation this afternoon. It has to be said. It's like a ventriloquist act, the talking beer there. Thank you very much for all your comments this afternoon. Thomas, my mouth is watering from some piri chicken. Oh yes. Marta, I'm doing my soft scout and a soft scout. That's
what's a soft scout?
Yeah, and what's the difference between a soft scout and a hard scout? Is that something like at the end of summer?
That's like online.
Okay, a virtual scout. So that's 3 kinds now. A holiday in September. Really looking forward to making a Wednesday meetup. Oh, thanks, Marta. Looking forward to meeting you. The morning show has added a positive, happy vibe to each day. Carl, you're an amazing host. Keep the shoe rolling along. Oh, bless you, Marta. Thank you very much for that. That's very sweet of you. Yes, see you here. We're ready for you here every Wednesday. My idea of cooking is selecting a restaurant. It's fair enough, isn't it? Second that, says T-Duck. Carl, my advice in visiting in summer and winter regards the same location. Oh, okay, because a place might be good in summer, but you might not like it in the wintertime. So true. Well said. Not show. I thought that was like an American saying. Keep the shoe rolling. Ed Sullivan. Keep the shoe rolling. Okay, thank you for that. We'll keep the show and the shoe rolling. Thank you very much. Hey, Paul Richards. Not surprisingly here, he has a recommendation for you for your scouting trip. Algarve, or even the Algarve. No, it divides, doesn't it? Those strong assertions like that. Hello from Deborah Davies. Deborah, any relation to Pete Wilton Davies, I wonder? And wondering if we can have some more pictures of your art installation, which you're hanging in Wells Cathedral, I believe. It looked fantastic. For the record, I'm planning a mini scouting trip next spring. I will be based in Lisbon, but I hope to meet you in San Martinho de Porto. Yeah, an hour bus ride. You might be able to get a lift from somebody coming from Lisbon. Thanks for all your videos. They've been helpful. Thanks, John Wood. Thank you for watching them. We are in the visa application process and moving to Leiria from the States once approved. Good luck. Let you know where we are if you need help. Hello from Mama and Harry. Yay, Mama and Harry. Good to have you here. And Bar Emantega. You've got the view there. We've turned the camera around for you. Salud de Porto in the distance has become larger. And the green in the foreground used to be a children's play park with swings and roundabouts and sand on the floor. I remember that when we first came here only 5 years ago. There was still some playground equipment here. So well said, Paul and Manteiga. We will be in Porto and San Martino de Porto for sure. Fantastic. The two important Portos. For sure, I'll do my homework, says Alex. I'm thinking of buying now for the purpose of the golden visa. Well, it's a good time to do that, I would say. Not financial advice. Eric is here. Eric Blischer. Hello from Denver, Colorado. You are right near where I want to buy my condo. Just got my NIF this week. Peniche Nazare, Figueira de Foz. Good choices, Eric. Well done. Deborah saying hi. And Alex, my favorite destination in Douro Valley by far. Oh, is the Douro Valley? Yeah, well, we can't blame you for that. More beautiful than Tuscany. And
Douro Valley has good wine.
And have you been? You've been on a trip into the Douro Valley?
No, but I've had their wine.
You've had the wine?
Yes.
Okay, just a little taster, a virtual valley tour. Tito's nodding his head like he's had quite a lot of that Douro wine. Douro. And possibly a final comment now. We've nearly been doing this for an hour. Can you believe that?
Really?
Yep. 57 minutes. Many thanks. As always, Colin, another great show. Thank you, Patrick. Join you for a beer soon. Can't wait, mate. All the best to you all. That's to all of us. Patrick says hello to everybody. And so let's wrap up. I don't know if I have all your intel and reconnaissance and opinions.
Maybe not. Maybe we could do this again sometime.
Part 2. She's angling for a part 2.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
Did you think this was going to be bad?
I was nervous. I'd never done something like this before.
Me neither.
Oh.
I think it went quite well.
Carl makes it easy.
Considering. So, a part 2 from Mrs. Duck. I think that there will be all-round appreciation and requests for that. So, part 2. Oh, look at this. Nunu apparently is in the meetup tomorrow. Another meetup that we've got going. Thanks to Jackie Polly down there in Portimao. Nunu is going to be in the Algarve tomorrow, which is good news. Ask him anything about insurance. He's a big friend of us and this community. Anything you want to know about insurance, and you're in the Algarve, pop along and see Nunu. He won't bore you with insurance. He will have a drink with you, and he'll make sure you've got some good solutions and products from the insurance world. There's some of which you absolutely have to have, of course, with the D7. Look at him. Who's that behind us? Do you know this guy?
No.
No. Okay, we'll spin. Thank you, Mrs. Duck.
Do you think we should call the GNR?
I think we should. Could you do that?
Okay.
Could you make the signal to the bar owner that there is a problem? Only kidding, folks. If anyone's trying to organise that from your end, we're just kidding. We will spin the camera around and we'll go to a bit more of that lovely music and just let you have a last lingering view of the San Martinho de Porto Bay. All set up very beautifully, I should add, by T-Duck, top producer T-Duck. You've done a fantastic job again. Thank you. And your roving reporting was superb. And Mrs. Duck, it's been the Duck Show this afternoon. And yes, we'll get back to the beers and have a bit of a sold. Nice. That's a good suggestion, Paul A. Manteiga. Let's get that music back on in the background. We'll start that again. And there we go. There's some nice piano music. And we'll spin the camera around the other way and let you have a nice relaxing view. San Martinho de Porto meditation. How good is that? Thanks, Brenda, Mrs. Duck. Thanks, T-Duck. Thanks, everybody who tuned in. I really appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Keep those questions. Keep tuning in. Keep those questions coming in. And we'll see you again soon. Ciao, ciao.